She said it's for all the right.
Unknowingly flirted with Amanda Stenberg's ex. So basically, I was 16. It was Guitar Center, very 2015 Meet Cute AU. And I go into the back where all the acoustic guitars are because I'm trying to find a new guitar. I'm fiddling with this electric acoustic, trying to get this amp to work, and I look across from me. Cute ass boy, brown curly hair, blue eyes, you know the type. And I get all flustered and then realize my amp isn't working. I'm super embarrassed, and he notices at some point and looks at me and says, "Oh, can I help you with that?" He walks over and he fixes it. I start playing some songs and I look over. He's playing his guitar and harmonizing with what I'm playing. So he's like, "Do you know any song?" My cringy ass is like, "Oh, Red Hot Chili Peppers." We start playing together and I'm humming a little bit. He looks at me and says, "Oh, do you know how to sing?" I'm like, "Oh, a little bit." Singing along while he's playing. After a few minutes, I have to go, so we exchange numbers. Text for a while. Find out he's an artist. Volunteers and paints murals on children's hospitals. Dream boy, right? I end up curving him. He doesn't play video games. There my friend learned about his ex.
I was camping alone through Colorado. I met this beautiful man and we ended up traveling together for like 2 weeks. We were complete strangers, but he was really dope and we had a lovely time just camping through Colorado and Utah, and it was pretty Wattpad-esque. This is a picture from Utah. He also knew a lot about cooking outside, so he like made all of our meals, which was dope. Overall, pretty great experience. Very happy I didn't get murdered.
Sorry I look like shit, I just woke up, but I have a story. So in high school, I liked this guy like my freshman year, but didn't really have any class with him sophomore year, but then I had a class with him junior year, and I liked him again. And one of my friends also started liking him, but she had an actual shot with him, so I was like, yeah, go for it. And then I hide away my feelings, and they broke up. Didn't really see him after that until the summer before college, and then we ended up going to college together, so then I started hanging out with them more, and I had feelings for this guy, like caught feelings so hard, and I was like, I need to tell him so I can get over it, because that's what I usually do. I'm very confrontational. So this one day we're in a study room and it's like 12 a.m. and I'm like, "So I want to tell you that I liked you." And he was like, "Yeah, I know, but we can't be together." And I was like, "I know." He's like, "But not because I'm straight." It gets juicy, like for part 2. Part 2! Finally! I'm so sorry it took so long. I was taking care of my grandma this weekend. I just got home. I also didn't expect it to blow because my sword times never do well. Okay, so if you remember right where we left off is when he said that we couldn't be together, but not because he's straight. So to that, I was just like, what? And then he responded and was like, "We can't be together because we're friends. By the way, I'm bi." I lost my shit. To me, this guy was like the straightest guy I knew. That's why I told him so I could get over it, because there's like no chance. So after he said that, we kind of just talked for like 2 to 3 hours about how he was bi and who was he out to at the time. I was the third person he told, but now he's out, but his family doesn't know. That's why his identity is still a secret. After we talked for the 2-3 hours, I had a bunch of butterflies in my stomach, and I was like, I'm gonna try something right now. So I told him I had a question, but then I completely chickened out and was like, never mind, I don't have a question. He was like, just say it, and I was like, fine. Do you want to kiss me right now? I hate doing this, but I'm running out of time, so like for part 3, it'll come soon. Part 3 of the most Wattpad moment I've ever experienced. So we left off on part 2 with me asking him if he wants to kiss me right now, and he said yes immediately. So we ended up getting up, and we went in for a kiss and ended up making out in the middle of a study room at 3 a.m. And then after we both freaked out a bit, because like I've never had someone kiss me back that like I liked, that liked me, and it was his first time ever kissing a guy. So we ended up talking back and forth about how he wanted us to still be friends, but I wanted more, and we ended up being like, fine, let's think about it, but let's make out one more time. So we made out one more time, and after that, we went off the week kind of going back and forth, like making out and stuff, and we ended up stopping, but then quarantine hit. I can follow for more stories about this boy because I have a lot.
So I graduated high school in 2013, and my senior year of high school there was a foreign exchange student who was from Italy. His name was Carlo, and he had beautiful eyebrows, the most adorable accent. He was so cute, and all of the girls in school loved him, and everybody had a crush on him. I think every girl I knew had a crush on him. He was so cute. I thought he was gay because he was super well groomed. And also for context, I was not a cute high schooler. I had big, thick rimmed glasses. I dressed like a boy. I had those weird swoopy bangs. I also had ADHD, and I was a theater kid, so nobody really liked me, let alone boys. Anyway, one day I finally got to meet him, and I was like, "Hi, I'm Bailey. It's nice to meet you. I've been wanting to meet you for a long time. Let's be friends, because, I wanted to be his friend." Anyway, so after I walked away, he was like, "Who is that girl? I have a huge crush on her." And so we started dating, and it's been 8 years, and I've gone to Italy like probably 28 times now.
So I was at my Oxford interview. If you don't know, when you have your interview, you stay there for like 4 days or something. So it was my last night, and I was having tea, and I was sitting next to this guy, and we just kind of like hit it off. We were talking loads. So we finished our tea, and then we were like, "Oh, well, do you want to go hang out?" So we went to the pub, but I was 17, so we got kicked out of the pub. So then we got a bottle of wine from Sainsbury's and walked around all of Oxford during like the night with all the Christmas lights on, just talking. Like, this was literally where we were sitting for ages. Anyway, then we went back to the college. We were again sitting for ages, and then we both like went to bed. But as we were leaving, we texted each other, and then we came back to where we were sitting. Like, we ran back, and I had my first kiss in the middle of my Oxford interviews. And then the next day we did like touristy stuff, and we kept talking for a while afterward, but then it fizzled out. He lived in Cornwall, which is very far from where I live. But then, like 2 years later, I went on holiday to the exact town that he lived in. So we met up, went to the pub, and we got together again. And we never spoke since.
I'm gonna have to skip some bits here. But when I was 20, I moved to England to study. And in my first term anthropology class, I remember seeing this girl that had a bleached blonde bowl cut and like a very radiant yellow backpack. And I was instantly like, "Oh, she is so cute." And throughout the next year or so, we would be in some of the same classes, but I never really talked to her. We didn't really have any mutual friends. And I kind of actively avoided her because she was really intimidating and I was like a scared gay. And then I remember in second year, one sociology class, I was texting my friend group because we had this chat where we would make fun of the lecture or whatever. And I referenced this girl who then had a buzz cut. I was like, "She is the cutest person, and she's my future wife." 5 years later.
Oh my gosh, okay. So I like going on night walks, they're de-stressing, but I can't go alone because I'm a woman. So I asked one of my guy friends, and I was like, "Do you want to go on a walk with me?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure." We agreed to meet at the entrance, and I thought, we'd both be walking. No, he pulls up in his car. He's like, "Get in." I'm like, "Okay." So I go in. He takes me to the top of a mountain, and he's like, "Yeah, I like to just chill here and look at the lights." We saw the entire city below us, and that's not all. I kind of let it slip because I was still pretty new to the city. I let it slip that, I haven't explored much of it. And he's like, "Oh, you know what? I'm going to take you on a tour around the city." He takes me all around Montreal. We literally go on 3 bridges. We go on this huge bridge that leads out of the city just so we can go back and see the city coming in with the lights reflecting and everything. Kind of thought he was kidnapping me, but he wasn't. It was all good. We left the car at one point to go and look at the Christmas lights. And then this was all at 1 or 2 a.m. When I got home, it was almost 3 a.m.
Flashback, 10th grade, I was 15. I sat in the front row of my class. This guy sat behind me. We never talked in our lives at all. He was asking everybody what they found unappealing about him. Don't know why. I have no idea why. But he taps on my shoulder and asks me, and I was like, you need a shave, and you're super opinionated. Okay. And then he was like, "So you're telling me if I change that, you date me?" And I was like, yeah. And then the next day, he comes back to class with a freaking shaved face and tells me he's feeling less opinionated, and now we've been dating for 3 years. So
Okay, so I was at a club. It was Halloween, and I was just having some fun with a dude, but was nothing special. I went to the toilet 5 minutes after we just danced on a dance floor, and I saw this really handsome dude standing there. And I was like, nah, he won't even notice me. I don't even have a chance. Literally 5 minutes after I came out of the toilet, I lost all of my friends. And out of nowhere, he just stood right in front of me. And I was like, I'm gonna say hello. And I asked him if he dressed up as The Rock, because he wore a turtleneck and the chain and those jeans. He laughed at me because he did not dress up. Then he got a call, and I thought, well, I'm just gonna look for my friends again. I wanted to leave, but then he pushed his finger on my lips, ended the call, and fucking kissed me.